All right, Top Billin, there's some type of gross double standard going on with my man Aidan Hutchinson, and I had no clue until I did that kind of film study, kind of jest type thing that I usually do around this time with these big games, where I said that Aidan Hutchinson was put in solitary confinement by Jamari Sawyer in the University of Georgia offensive line, right? I also made sure, just because I know how people are, to explain myself, that he still made an impact in the game where I may not have shown up on a stat sheet. You can't stat gawk your way to analysis. He was held a few times, and he contributed in the run game, and he was a pretty much an overall nuisance. But people are going to look at the stat sheet when they don't like you, and then that's all they'll go by. So I showed his wins in the run game. I showed him getting held and everything, but most people don't even watch content, to be honest with you. They watch the comment section. So a lot of the sheeple have made this kid public enemy number one, and I believe it stems from a couple of things. First and foremost, I think it stems from the fact that he's white. Straight up. Because I don't understand how you can look at this kid and watch him play and say stuff like he's overrated based off of one game. So we got to stop that shit. If I'm going to call it out for us, I'm also going to call it out by us, because I'm sick of this whole bullshit no matter what side of the aisle it's on. You get what I'm saying? So this cat is a really good player, of course, but I know that a lot of it stems from the fact that he was granted what people would believe some type of privilege to be in the Heisman Trophy ceremony, which is going to be a ceremonial appearance anyway, because everybody knows a defensive player wasn't about to win the Heisman Trophy this year with those quarterbacks with those type of numbers. So yes, Will Anderson, the baddest man on the planet, deserved to be at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, but that doesn't mean Aidan Hutchinson shouldn't have been there as well, right? So he didn't put himself there. So you're going to have to not get on him because of that. That man can play. So people will take that if they don't like you, and then they will put you under the microscope. So most of these people don't even watch football. They watch Twitter or they watch Facebook or whatever you cats out there are doing on social media. So if people on social media doesn't like somebody, then they don't like them, and then they'll watch the big game. So they watch one game of this guy against Georgia, and then they formulate some analysis based on that. Well, then how about this? A lot of people want to mention Will Anderson. Against Georgia, Aidan Hutchinson had 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 assist. Like I said before, he could have had a couple of sacks. That man was held, and I will go over the film right now to show this. Same thing with Will Anderson. What did he have? He ends up having the same exact stat line. But you won't hear people call him overrated or a bust or anything like that, first and foremost, because everybody watches Alabama. And also, he doesn't have that stigma surrounding him. So I don't understand what's going on with that. But 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 assist, same exact production. Come on, man. We got to stop that bullshit, man. Let's get to it.
What more can I say?
Top Billin. Now, anybody who actually understands the fabric of the sport knows that holding calls, if we're talking about for an edge player or anybody on the defensive line of scrimmage, is akin to a sack. Now, you don't get that loss of down or however you would want to describe that as, but you do get 10 yards. Some sacks aren't even 10 yards, so think about that. So this man drawing holding penalties right here against Warren McClendon is akin to a sack, because everybody with half a brain knows that this would have been a sack if he was not held. So think about that from that particular standpoint there while you be with your goofy double standard. Look at this. Come on, man. This man been held super hard around his neck. You think Warren McClendon is doing this because this is an easy rep, right? This man, let's start it from the beginning right here. This man in that motorcycle stance, right, really putting him in an even exchange situation, not telegraphing if he's going to go upfield or if he's going to bend it to the edge, right, or if he's going to kick it to the inside there. He decides to run the arc and run it really tight, and look at him. He scooped up under him, right? We know it's a leverage game. Got up under him. Warren McClendon wasn't prepared for that. Warren McClendon tries to sink those mud hooks in, but he has that leverage to continue to drive. So Warren McClendon has the abandon technique and just do what he can to save his quarterback there. 10 yards. What are we doing right here? Look, come on. You're not going to count something like that because you don't like somebody? Fuck out of here, man. All right, here we go again with him pressed to the nines. You have going against Warren McClendon. Look at this. What's that? Was that not going to be a sack? Come on. Warren McClendon over here having to abandon technique real early. Look, what happened? Once again, the leverage game. He gets under Warren McClendon's pads, and you can see the leg drive in here. It's a very strong kid, able to transition that power to space. Look at that. So drove Warren McClendon back so he could survey, and he already knows what's going on. Stetson Bennett is about to flush to his side, so he immediately starts to work from that side. Now look, the man has a fistful of jersey, and then on the transition to move laterally, look at that. You couldn't alter a jersey any worse than that, right? That man is a tailor. He's tailoring that man's jersey to the European fit, right? And he's not, come on, man, what are we doing here? These are reps. If you actually played football and you're in film study, this guy will get mad props from the coach for this rep, because this rep without the holding penalty is a sack. Come on. You got to be able to play it down the middle when you do analysis, right? Come on. What are we doing? Here's an even more prime example. They're trying to chip off him. Bauer's on the chip. But look at this. What? Come on. Play it down the middle. You can't let feelings go over facts, right? The eye in the sky does not lie. This man working the counter on the chip there, trying to get skinny. But look at him. Use the space and then dip it low. Stripper style. So dipping that bad boy low with the arm under. Now look at McClendon. Arm all around his neck. 10-yard penalty. Look at that. He's beat. Without that, what happens? Let's be real here. What happens? I think it's a hold on both sides. What happens? Come on, man. What are we doing here? I don't care what you do away from top billing. Do your thing. But at top billing, man, please don't come up in here with this cornball shit ruining the sport. I only want real football heads here who want to talk real football shit. Now, don't forget about his contributions to the run. You can clearly see his short area quickness going against Darnell Washington here. Come on. Darnell had nothing to offer on that particular rep right here. Now, Darnell Washington, a hell of a blocker. I will continue to say it. Top 10 pick if he were to convert to left tackle and commit full time to that. But on this one right here, that's what giving a man a hezzy, and then bang, look at that. Slapped into his shoulder, sciatic nerve damage. Gave that man sciatic nerve damage. And you know what? I call that man Granddaddy. Granddaddy Darnell Washington. He don't need to be getting no sciatic nerve damage there. But then parallel down the line of scrimmage, right on Zamir White. Bang, hit him in his hips. Here he is on the other side going against Jamari Sawyer and hit him with an inside approach. Look at that. Jab to the outside, inside approach. He flushed Stetson Bennett. He put him off of his landmark. You're going to count that in film study. Look at this. Look at his move, right? Sold him upfield with it. He can see Sawyer widening. Quickly bends that to the inside. I love his ability to separate on the point of attack, or pretty much on the 50-50 exchange situations, by using that slap chop. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember the slap chop? that thing that would come on those infomercials. He hitting you with the slap chop all on your shoulder, and you know your nerve damage sets in there. They're even trying to give a little bit of help and everything. Luckily for Georgia's standpoint, Stetson Bennett has some wheels, and he's able to get upfield because nobody kept contained on the other side. Once again, back over here going against Darnell Washington. And look at his savviness going against this stretch run play right here to maintain edge. And then, boom, you see that? He knocks Darnell Washington into James Cook. Didn't have to get there. Look at that. Maintain edge control there. Stay parallel. Now look at that. Look at the bendability and flexibility in this kid. Start talking about actual real shit, not worrying about what other people are saying. If you look at his skill set, you can see this guy has a chance to be tremendous in the National Football League when you combine that with his frame. But the buildability right here and the savviness to know, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to get back to that gap. You know what I can do? I can get to the strength factor here, get really low, and knock Darnell Washington, who is standing tall and talented right there, right into James Cook. And that's exactly what he did. And then he disengages and puts Granddaddy on the ground too, breaking Granddaddy's hips. You know your Granddaddy ain't supposed to hit the ground like that, man. Look at that. That's some good savviness from that man right there. But nobody will point that out except here on Top Billin, because we don't get down with that bias shit. Regarding Will Anderson, we see him going against McClendon as well, and you can see some differences between the two. Now, keep in mind, Will Anderson a little bit smaller than Aidan Hutchinson, but I had to joke about Aidan Hutchinson going against Brock Bowers in that one previous piece, and I was talking about how Brock Bowers was still stuck to him to this day. I can make the same exact joke here with him going against John Fitzpatrick. Look, John Fitzpatrick on his ass. Look at that. Everywhere he going, he my buddy. Everywhere he goes, I go. Look at that. John Fitzpatrick parallel to the line of scrimmage. Your man tries to double back. He stays parallel to the line of scrimmage, shuffling his feet. This is exactly how you want to teach that there, coaches. Almost like basketball. Will Anderson, nothing doing except this freak over here, Dallas Turner, doing his thing on the other side. Good Lord. That looked gruesome there. But Will Anderson, come on. That man was stuck to that man, right? They were doing the tango over there. Will Anderson, very similar, right? Motorcycle stance, press to the nines going against McClendon. And remember the type of power that Aidan Hutchinson was working with here. You can see a little bit of a difference there. Mud hook sunk in. Will Anderson is not going anywhere. Look at this. Good rep here by McClendon. He gets on the outside. Will Anderson does get the leverage on the inside there, but he's unable to really work the physical portion of this rep right there. And man getting that one hand to his shirt lapel, getting hemmed up right there. Now he's getting club bounce. That is a straight club bounce. And I told your ass, you're not coming back up in this club. Take your ass where you at. But look at this. Same deal right here. I would give this, just because Will Anderson stayed with it. That's staying with it right there. It's a long down and distance right there. McClendon got a little bit lazy in the transition. He slightly pulled a jersey. He let it go a little bit there, but Will Anderson's motor off the charts. I want people to start saying that about Will Anderson and not doing the whole flip side thing. Aidan Hutchinson motor runs hot because he's white, but Will Anderson, his motor doesn't run hot. His motor runs super hot. They both combine athleticism with a high motor. It really is funny to see them put in similar situations. You got him going against Darnell Washington right here, trying to contribute in the run game, disengages, but nope. Now, listen, like I said before, I'm not trying to put down Will Anderson. He's my favorite player. So we know that's not the case there. I just want to show you how the double standards can make people view one person's game opposed to another person when they have the same exact game, put in the same exact situations. And I thought Will Anderson had some really good reps on here as well, but he just didn't get there on some of them. But he contributed and flushed the pocket as well. As seen right here, going against Jamari Sawyer. Great job. Very much like the play from Aidan Hutchinson. If you really look at it, these guys had like the same exact plays while having the same exact stat production. So imagine that. Disengages, parallel down the line of scrimmage there, able to meet. Great rep going against Sawyer. Here we go again. This is like that flush play from Aidan Hutchinson. He takes an inside approach, gets back past the right guard there, flushes. Didn't make the play, but he made the play, if you get what I'm saying there. At least from a film standpoint. Obviously, if you don't get the quarterback on the ground, he could throw it away or even still complete the pass. But you get what I'm saying there. So these guys had similar games. I want to see people double back now and either say something negative about Will Anderson or say something positive about Aidan Hutchinson. You guys always do this when these cats are going to the draft and you end up looking goofy, just like all the people I had to battle against with all those A.J. Terrell film studies that I did, because they watched one game of his against Jamar Chase, and obviously Jamar Chase is generational and everybody's struggling against Jamar Chase, and A.J. Terrell looks like a damn stud animal freak out there, and now people are quiet as a church on Tuesday. All right, so that's all I want, man. Happy and fair analysis right down the middle, and we can get it in like that. But it's your boy Murph, the DMV King, BKA the Underground King, Top Billin Sports, and I am out. Peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.